Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare.
And all glories to Sri Krishna Janmashtami. Today, the celebration of the birth of Lord Krishna. And this is, of course, a global celebration by the grace of Srila Prabhupada, because he, of all people that have been born in this modern society, has been the key person. Krishna Gata, good to see you. He is the key person who has brought Krishna to the forefront of the human society. I was just looking at a picture of Tulsi Gabbard on Facebook. And she was dressed in her military outfit, like that. But it's interesting to note, and people were making comments about her, this, that, some people, devotees, making comments, oh, she's good or bad. But it's interesting to note, and people were making comments about her, this, that, some people, devotees, making comments, oh, she's good or bad. But it's interesting to note, and people were making comments about her, this, that, some people, devotees, making comments, oh, she's good or bad. But it's interesting to note, and people were making comments about her, this, that, some people, devotees, making comments, oh, she's good or bad. But it's interesting to note, and people were making comments about her, this, that, some people, devotees, making comments, oh, she's good or bad. But it's interesting to note, and people were making comments about her, this, that, some people, devotees, making comments, oh, she's good or bad. But it's interesting to note, and people were making comments about her, this, that, some people, devotees, making comments, oh, she's good or bad. But it's interesting to note, and people were making comments about her, this, that, some people, devotees, making comments, oh, she's good or bad. But it's interesting to note, and people were making comments about her, this, that, some people, devotees, making comments, oh, she's good or But the main thing that stuck in my mind was her name. You have a person who has the name Tulsi. Why does she have the name Tulsi? Because Prabhupada introduced Tulsi Devi worship to the world. That's why. And when everybody says the word Tulsi, they get blessed. Just the word. Actions, that's different. That's some other thing. But this is the influence of Srila Prabhupada, that he has made Krishna, and this was spoken years ago, Krishna Gita, if you recall, that the name Krishna became a household name, from nothing to something. Back in the day, in the 60s, in the 70s, nobody ever heard of Krishna in America. Hardly. Oh, a few people. But then Krishna became a household name. And, it was largely due to Prabhupada's pushing the Sankirtan movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu into the public eye. And I can remember in Canada here, we would have the Harinam celebrations on Saturdays in Toronto, sometimes in Montreal, and devotees from Buffalo, devotees from Montreal and Ottawa would come to Toronto to chant Hare Krishna on the streets. Yes. And back then, Harinam was very common everywhere. People were chanting in New York, people were chanting in Los Angeles, we were chanting in Toronto. So Prabhupada popularized the holy name by us simply going out on the streets and chanting. This is Sankirtan. So the Sankirtan mission was inaugurated in the West by Srila Prabhupada. He went to Tompkins Square Park. What did he do? He sat down under that tree, and they have a memorial there that commemorates his chanting, starting the Harinam there. And you've seen some beautiful pictures, Krishna Gita, of the devotees under the tree in that very wonderful setting back then. And time has certainly passed along. It's amazing how time is the destroyer of everything in a certain way. It's Krishna's power, and we are all under the influence of that time. But Krishna's birth and his activities are not subjected to temporary time. One who knows the janma karma chime divyam evam yoti tatvataha, you know the truth about the birth and appearance of the Lord, then you won't come back to this material world when you leave this body, the liquid body, liquid beauty. We won't tell that story today because we're going to go to our Mother Rochisha, Devi Dasi, I've been reading the Krishna book for myself and sharing some of the sections from the wonderful pastimes that have been so beautifully explained by Srila Prabhupada in the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And Krishna Gita, you know what bothers me about it? That some people think that Prabhupada didn't do the greatest service to humanity, and they minimize him. It's absolutely ridiculous. If you read the 10th canto, it's a glorious manifestation of Krishna. The name and the form and the sound vibration are non-different. This is the problem with a lot of people. They have no idea of what the meaning of bhakti yoga truly is, because they don't have a bona fide spiritual master. Unless you're plugged in, you won't be connected to the power source. And you have to accept, every student has to accept this one principle, that Prabhupada is the Acharya who represents Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj as the bona fide guru in the disciplic succession from him and Lord Chaitanya. If you don't get that, you don't get anything. You're just a sentimentalist. You're a Sahajya. Do you like Sahajyas? Rachisha Devi Dasi? Do you like them? Do we? Krishna Kata? Do we like Sahajyas like Radhanath? No way. No, thank you. And people are mad at me. They really get mad at me because I say that. But the truth must be spoken. And today, we're going to read about, I was trying to think, Krishna Kata, where should I go? Remember, I'm up at this different section of the Bhagavatam. I'm at the marriage of Rukmini and Jambavan, the fighting with Jambavan and all that. And I thought, well, maybe I should grab a section from there. And then I was taking a look at someone's story today about Prabhupada on Janmashtami. And it rung in my head that Prabhupada had done this. He said, he asked the devotees in New Vrindavan to read Krishna book, The Birth of Lord Krishna. That simple. And I thought to myself, okay, well, let's do that. Let's do that. And Birth of Lord Krishna, that's Prabhupada sat and had the devotees read to him the birth of Lord Krishna. Because Prabhupada would enjoy to hear the books, reading the pastimes of Sri Krishna. And what appropriate place to read today on this glorious day, and we should all celebrate it with enthusiasm. What a glorious day to make advancement in spiritual life. You know, because every day is an opportunity to make advancement, to humble yourself, to be properly mentally situated in humility. What does that mean, Krishna Kata? That I am an insignificant speck in this colossal creation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And if I think I'm something more than that, that's a mistake. So we're going to read about Lord Krishna's birth right now. From the 3rd chapter of Krishna book, The Birth of Lord Krishna. And Rupa Goswami, if you could please bring it up on the screen for our wonderful God brothers and God sisters who are here to celebrate this transcendental pastime together with all of us. As stated in the Bhagavad-gītā, the Lord says that his appearance, birth, and activities are all transcendental, and one who understands them factually becomes immediately eligible to be transferred to the spiritual world. The Lord's appearance or birth is not like that of an ordinary man who is forced to accept a material body according to his past deeds. The Lord's appearance is explained in the 2nd chapter. He appears out of his own sweet pleasure. When the time was mature for the appearance of the Lord, the constellations became very auspicious. The astrological influence of the star known as Rohini was also predominant because this star is considered to be very auspicious. Rohini is under the direct supervision of Brahma. According to the astrological conclusion, besides the proper situation of the stars, there are auspicious and inauspicious moments due to the different situations of the different planetary systems. At that time, at the time of Krishna's birth, the planetary systems were automatically adjusted so that everything became auspicious. At that time, in all directions, east, west, south, north, everywhere, there was an atmosphere of peace and prosperity. That's a great theme here nowadays, isn't it? Krishna Katha. Peace. There were auspicious stars visible in the sky and on the surface in all towns and villages, or pasturing grounds, and within the minds of everyone there were signs of good fortune. The rivers were flowing full of waters, and the lakes were beautifully decorated with lotus flowers. The forests were full with beautiful birds and peacocks. All the birds within the forest began to sing with sweet voices, and the peacocks began to dance along with their consorts. The wind blew very pleasantly, carrying the aroma of different flowers, and the sensation of bodily touch was very pleasing. At home, the Brahmins, who were accustomed to offer sacrifices in the fire, found their homes very pleasant for offerings. Due to disturbances created by the demoniac kings, the sacrificial fire altar had been almost stopped at the houses of Brahmins, but now they could find the opportunity to start the fire peacefully. Being forbidden to offer sacrifices, the Brahmins were very distressed in mind, intelligence, and activities, but just on the point of Krishna's appearance, automatically their minds became full of joy, because they could hear loud vibrations in the sky of the transcendental sounds proclaiming the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The denizens of the Gandharvas and Kinnara planets began to sing, and the denizens of Siddhaloka and the planets of the Charanas began to offer prayers in the service of the personality of Godhead. In the heavenly planets, the angels, along with their wives, accompanied by the Apsaras, began to dance. So we have to pray like that. My dear Lord, please engage me in the distribution of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Please do that. The great sages and the demigods, being pleased, began to shower flowers. At the seashore, there was the sound of mild waves. And above the sea, there were clouds in the sky which began to thunder very pleasingly. When things were adjusted like this, Lord Vishnu, who is residing within the heart of every living entity, appeared in the darkness of night as the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared as the Supreme Personality of Godhead before Devaki, who also appeared as one of the demigoddesses. The appearance of Lord Vishnu at that time could be compared with the full moon in the sky as it rises on the eastern horizon. The objection may be raised that since Lord Krishna appeared on the 8th day of the waning moon, there could be no rising of the full moon. In answer to this, it may be said that Lord Krishna appeared in the dynasty which is in the hierarchy of the moon. Therefore, although the moon was incomplete on that night, because of the Lord's appearance in the dynasty, wherein the moon is himself the original person, the moon was in a overjoyous condition. So by the grace of Krishna, he could appear just as a full moon. In an astronomical treatise by the name Kamanikiya, the constellations at the appearance of Lord Krishna, are very nicely described. It is confirmed that the child born at the auspicious moment was the Supreme Brahman, or the Absolute Truth. Vasudeva was the wonderful child born as a baby with 4 hands, holding conch shell, club, disc, and lotus flower decorated with the mark of Srivatsa, wearing the jeweled necklace of Kaustuba stone, dressed in yellow silk, appearing dazzling like a bright blackish cloud, wearing a helmet, bedecked with the Vidurya stone, valuable bracelets, earrings, and similar other ornaments all over his body, and an abundance of hair on his head. Due to the extraordinary features of the child, Vasudeva was struck with wonder. How could a newly born child be so decorated? He could therefore understand that Lord Krishna had now appeared. Excuse me. There's a lot of pictures here. Became overpowered by the occasion. Vasudeva was very humbly wondered that although he was an ordinary living entity conditioned by material nature and was externally imprisoned by Kamsa, the all-pervading personality of Godhead Vishnu, or Krishna, was appearing as a child in his home, exactly in his original position. No earthly child is born with 4 hands, decorated with ornaments and nice clothing, fully equipped with all the signs of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Over and over again, Vasudeva glanced at his child, and he considered how to celebrate this auspicious moment. Generally, when a male child is born, he thought people observe the occasion with jubilant celebrations. And in my home, although I'm imprisoned, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has taken birth. How many millions and millions of times should I be prepared to observe this auspicious ceremony? Is that an instruction to all of us? Never get tired of this. When Vasudeva, who is also called Anakudundubi, was looking at his newborn baby, he was so happy that he wanted to give so many thousands of cows in charity to the Brahmins. According to the Vedic system, when there is an auspicious ceremony in the Kshatriya king's palace, the king gives many things in charity. Cows decorated with golden ornaments are delivered to the Brahmins and sages. Vasudeva wanted to perform a charitable ceremony to celebrate Krishna's appearance, but because he was so shackled within the walls of Kamsa's prison, what a demon, this was not possible. Indeed, within his mind, he gave thousands of cows to the Brahmins in his mind. Very interesting. When Vasudeva was convinced that the newborn child was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he bowed down with his folded hands, began to offer him prayers. At that time, Vasudeva was in the transcendental position, and he became completely free from all fear of Kamsa. The newborn baby was also flashing his effulgence within the room in which he appeared. Vasudeva then began to offer his prayers. My dear Lord, I can understand that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the super soul of all living entities, and the absolute truth. You have appeared in your own eternal form, which is directly perceived by us. I understand that because I'm afraid of Kamsa, you have appeared just to deliver me from that fear. You do not belong to this material world. You are the same person who brings about the cosmic manifestation simply by glancing over material nature. One may argue that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who creates the whole cosmic manifestation simply by his glance, cannot come within the womb of Devaki, the wife of Vasudeva. To eradicate this argument, Vasudeva said, "My dear Lord, it is not a very wonderful thing that you appear within the womb of Devaki, because the creation was also made in that way. You were lying in the causal ocean as the Mahavishnu, and by your breathing process, innumerable universes came into existence. Then you entered into each of the universes as Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. Then again you expanded into Kshirodakshayi Vishnu. And then you entered into the hearts of all living entities and entered even within the atoms. Therefore, your entrance in the womb of Devaki is understandable in the same way. Your inconceivable powers. You appear to have entered, but you are simultaneously all-pervading. Achinta Beta Beta Tattva. We can understand your entrance and non-entrance from material examples. The total material energy remains intact even after being divided into 16 elements. The material body is nothing but the combination of the 5 gross elements, namely earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Bhumir Apanalo Bayu. Whenever there is a material body, it appears that such elements are newly created, but actually the elements are always existing outside of the body. Similarly, although you appear as a child in the womb of Devaki, you are also existing outside. You are always in your abode, but you still can simultaneously expand yourself into millions of forms. And this we'll learn further when we study the life and teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this principle of Achinta Beta Beta Tattva, simultaneously one and different. I'm going to read a little bit more. One has to understand your appearance with great intelligence because the material energy is also emanating from you. You are the original source of the material energy, just as the sun is the source of the sunshine. The sunshine can cover the sun globe, cannot cover the sun globe, nor can the material energy, being an emanation from you, cover you. You appear to be in the 3 modes of material nature, but the 3 modes of material nature energy cannot cover you. Yes. This is understood by the highly intellectual philosophers, like all of you. In other words, although you appear to be within the material energy, you are never covered by it. We hear from Vedic version that the Supreme Brahman exhibits his intelligence, and therefore everything becomes illuminated. We can understand from Brahma Samhita that the Brahma Jyoti, or the Brahman effulgence, emanates from the body of the Supreme Lord, and from the Brahman effulgence all creation takes place. It is further stated in the Bhagavad-gītā that the Lord is also the support of the Brahman effulgence. Originally, he is the root cause of everything. But persons who are less intelligent, think that when the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes within this material world, he accepts the material qualities. Such conclusions are not very mature, but are made by the less intelligent. Okay. So today's program, we're focusing on these topics. And tomorrow will be Vyas Puja, celebration of our bona fide spiritual master, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda. And we want to thank all of you who provided a offering, a writing, expressing your internal feelings about our relationship with our spiritual master, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda. We want to thank you for supporting this. And at the same time, we want to commit ourselves to the mission of protecting Prabhupada's legacy. It's a very important thing in all his books and his teachings without any change or adulteration. And you're going to see that in the items that we're creating for promoting with our media team, the new items and new approach that we are taking to promoting Srila Prabhupada and his teachings to the entire world. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, and all glories to all of you, the members of the Hare Krishna Society Prabhupada Disciples Association. Thank you. Thank you so much for helping this become a reality. All glories to the Sankirtan movement.
Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam. The devotees know there is God and He is Bhagavan. God is called Bhagavan. Therefore, although it is said here, Bhagavad-gītā is spoken by Krishna, everyone knows. But in some places in the Bhagavad-gītā, it is described as Bhagavan Uvāca. Bhagavan and Krishna, the same person. Krishna Su Bhagavan Usayam. Bhagavan. There is a definition of the word Bhagavan. Vaisajyasya samagras vijyasya jasasasya jnana vairāgyasya sara iti bhavangana. Bhava, you will understand the word Bhagavan, Bhagya. The Bhagya, Bhagavan, this word comes from Bhava. Bhava means opulence. Opulence means riches. How one man can be opulent? If he has got money, if he has got intelligence, if he has got beauty, if he has got reputation, if he has got knowledge, if he has got renunciation. This is the meaning of Bhagavan. So when we speak Bhagavan, this Bhagavan, the Parameshwara, Ishvara, Parameshwara, Atma, Paramatma, Brahma, Parabrahma, there is two words. One is ordinary and the other is Param, supreme. Just like in our cooking process, we can cook varieties of rice. Rice is there, the varieties of names are there. Anna, Paramanna, Puspanna, Kichuranna, like that. So, the supreme Anna is called Paramanna. Param means the supreme. Anna, the rice is there, but it has become supreme. Ordinary rice is not called supreme rice. This is also rice. And when you prepare rice with kheer, means milk and other nice ingredients, it is called Paramanna. Similarly, the symptoms of living entities and Bhagavan, one is practically the same. Bhagavan, we have got this body, Bhagavan has got this body. Bhagavan is also living being, we are also living. Bhagavan has got creative energy, we have also creative energy. But the difference is, he is very great. Ekaja bahunam vidadhati kama. When Bhagavan creates this whole universe, he does not require anyone's help. He creates the sky, from the sky there is sound, from the sound there is air, from the air there is fire, from fire there is water, and from water the earth is there.
Microphone, Vishwakarma. We can't hear you, Prabhuji.
I am on, but I'm shut off, I guess. Can you hear me now? Yeah? Thumbs up? All glories to
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Technology. And we're using technology effectively to be able to transmit truth to people all over the world. And this is abuse of intelligence. This renunciation of everything isn't something that we do. What we do is we dovetail everything in Krishna's service. And so that's the responsibility of all of us to find ways and means to use our talents and abilities in the effective service of the Lord. And I wanted to thank one of our devotees who helped us create this new opening. And we got Yaśodā-nandana. It was interesting. I sent the opening of our class to Bhagavan, our godbrother. And he saw the opening and he sent me back a response. Thank you. Very interesting. And I entered a dialogue with him, a brief one, and talked about my friendship with him and my interest in him joining us someday with our programs. And I also sent it to another godbrother of ours, Rameshwar Prabhu, and he appreciated that. So dovetailing your talent and ability in Krishna's service is our principle of behavior at the Prabhupada Disciples Association, Hare Krishna Society. We're going to move ahead with the chanting of Jaya Radha Madhava, the bhajan, by Srila Prabhupada. Everyone chant along, please, if you feel so motivated. Then we're going to have our reading and discussion led by Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, who's in the mountains in California. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Janmashtami Ki Jai.
Sai. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem se Gaur Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta jai, Sri Radha Krishna Gaur Gopinath Sam Kund Radha Kund Girivardhan ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadvip Dham ki jai, Swami Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Jamuna Mai ki jai, Tulasi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Swami Bhaktivedanta ki jai. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you from Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1:1. Narayanam namaskritya. Narayanam namaskritya. Naram chaiva narottamam. Naram chaiva narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayat. Tato Jayam Mudirayat. One should utter the means of conquest, Srimad Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavad-gītā, after offering respectful obeisances, 1, to the personality of Godhead Narayana, 2, to the Narayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being, 3, to the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, Then 4 to Srila Vyasadeva, the author, from Srimad Bhagavatam 1-4. Welcome everyone to this reading and discussion on Bhagavad-gītā and Srimad Bhagavatam Krishna book. Most auspicious day. This is the day of celebration of the appearance of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Most auspicious during the manifested presence of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada introduced the celebration of Janmashtami by devotees chanting 64 rounds and reading from the Krishna book, the appearance of Lord Krishna. There are several chapters in the Krishna book leading to the appearance of Lord Krishna. And before we read a little bit more from the Krishna book, I just want to read from an email that I sent to just now to some of you, explaining when does Lord Krishna come to this planet Earth? Because this is a very important topic. In other words, when does the Lord come? At what time? So I'm just trying here to get the actual, just 1 second here. Read for a few. This is from a lecture from Srila Prabhupada in Melbourne, Australia on May 22nd, 1975. Melbourne, Australia. It's a lecture on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 1, Text number 3, on May 22nd, 1975. The question is, how long do you say it is before Krishna comes to this planet again in his physical and human form? Srila Prabhupada. Now calculate. I've already given the duration of 1 day. 12 hours of Brahma means 4,300,000 years multiplied by 1,000. What it comes? 4,300,000 years multiplied by 1,000. Devotees, 4,300 million. Prabhupada, no. Paramamsa, 4,300,000,000. Prabhupada, oh, difference of opinion. Madhavi say in Australia, they calculate different. Laughter. Prabhupada, anyway, what is your Australian calculation? Let me know. Madhavi said, it is true. Their billion is something else. Oh, Prabhupada. Oh, anyway, I've given you the right figure, 4 million according to American or English calculation. Laughter. 4,300,000 years and multiply it by 1,000. Then what it comes to according to English calculation, Paramamsa, 4,300,000. That is 12 hours. And again, add 12 hours, night. Then 8 billion, Paramam 600,000. So Krishna comes after this billion, 8,600,000,000 years. In 1 day, after 1 day of Brahma, he appears. So this is a very, very special occasion in this particular Kali Yuga. It's interesting, before there are, in the Indian system, when they have marriages and special ceremonies, temple openings, they do what is called a sankalpa, where they read what is the universal time. They say, Adyo Brahmanaha Dvitiya Pararde, that this is the second half of Lord Brahma's life. Vaivasvata Mantare, this is the Manvantara of Vaivasvata Manu. Ashtavyamshatime, the 28th cycle. And like this, they recite, and they go recite to the exact day, the exact month, the exact year, to celebrate the auspicious situation. So this particular yuga that we're in is a very, very special time, because Lord Krishna came to this planet 5,000 years ago. It's just fitting that Srila Prabhupada, the foremost devotee of Lord Krishna, came to this planet in 1896 and lived until 1977, and he translated this wonderful Krishna book. I don't know, where did we leave on the first chapter there? Which page? Ram Raghava, Rupa Goswami? Where did we leave when Vishwakarma Prabhu was reading? No, in the Krishna book. Which page were we reading when Vishwakarma Prabhu was reading?
Okay, 1 second. आपको बंद ये बीच में आते हैं
Krishna book, volume 1, Advent of Lord Krishna. Which page were we reading from? Which page is this? Which page is this and which chapter?
Third chapter, bro.
Huh?
Birth of Lord Krishna, third chapter.
Okay, which page are we reading from in the Krishna book? The chapter Advent of Lord Krishna.
Third chapter, bro. Birth of Lord Krishna.
Okay, you want to read from chapter 3? Okay.
Do you want me to show first chapter?
No, I wanted to find out where did Vishwakarma Prabhu stop reading from? Can anybody tell me, please?
Third chapter, bro. Third chapter.
Okay, we'll read from page number 23, chapter number 3, Birth of Lord Krishna. Chapter 3, page number 23, Birth of Lord Krishna. Go back to the beginning, page number 23, chapter 3, Birth of Lord Krishna, in the beginning of the chapter. Thank you. Finally. As stated in the Bhagavad-gītā, the Lord says that his appearance, birth, and activities are all transcendental. And one who understands them factually becomes immediately eligible to be transferred to the spiritual world. The Lord's appearance or birth is not like that of an ordinary man who is forced to accept a material body according to his past deeds. The Lord's appearance is explained in the 2nd chapter. He appears out of his own sweet pleasure. When the time was mature for the appearance of the Lord, the constellations became very auspicious. The astrological influence of the star known as Rohini is under the direct supervision of Brahma. According to the astrological conclusion, besides the proper situation of the stars, there are auspicious and inauspicious moments due to the different situations of the different planetary systems. At the time of Krishna's birth, the planetary systems were automatically adjusted so that everything became auspicious. At that time, in all directions, east, west, south, north, everywhere, there was an atmosphere of peace and prosperity. There were auspicious stars visible in the sky, and on the surface in all towns and villages or pasturing grounds, and within the minds of everyone, there were signs of good fortune. The rivers were flowing full of waters, and lakes were beautifully decorated with lotus flowers. The forests were full with beautiful birds and peacocks. All the birds within the forest began to sing with sweet voices, and the peacocks began to dance along with their consorts. The wind blew very pleasantly, carrying the aroma of different flowers, and the sensation of bodily touch was very pleasing. At home, the brahmanas who were accustomed to offer sacrifices in the fire found their homes very pleasant for offerings. Due to disturbances created by demoniac kings, the sacrificial fire altar had been almost stopped in the house of brahmanas. But now they could find the opportunity to start the fire peacefully. Being forbidden to offer sacrifices, the brahmanas were very distressed in mind. intelligence, and activities. But just on the point of Krishna's appearance, automatically their minds became full of joy because they could hear loud vibrations in the sky of transcendental sounds proclaiming, hold on here, where are we? Proclaiming the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The denizens of the Gandharva and Kinnara planets began to sing, and the denizens of Siddhaloka and the planets of the Charanas began to offer prayers in the service of the personality of Godhead. In the heavenly planets, the angels, along with their wives, accompanied by the Apsaras, began to dance. The great sages and the demigods, being pleased, began to shower flowers. At the seashore, there was the sound of mild waves, and above the sea, there were clouds in the sky, which began to thunder very pleasingly. When things were adjusted like this, Lord Vishnu, who is residing within the heart of every living entity, appeared in the darkness of night as the Supreme Personality of Godhead before Devaki, who also appeared as one of the demi-goddesses. The appearance of Lord Vishnu at that time could be compared with the full moon in the sky as it rises on the eastern horizon. The objection may be raised that since Lord Krishna appeared on the 8th day of the waning moon, there could be no rising of the full moon. In answer to this, it may be said that Lord Krishna appeared in the dynasty which is in the hierarchy of the moon. Therefore, although the moon was incomplete on that night, because of the Lord's appearance in the dynasty wherein the moon is himself the original person, the moon was in an overjoyous condition. So by the grace of Krishna, he could appear just as a full moon. In an astronomical treatise by the name of Kamanikya, the constellations at the time of the appearance of Lord Krishna are very nicely described. It is confirmed that the child born at that auspicious moment was the Supreme Brahman, or the Absolute Truth. Vasudeva saw that wonderful child born as a baby with 4 hands, holding conch shell, club, disc, and lotus flower, decorated with the mark of Srivatsa, wearing the jeweled necklace of Kaustubha stone, dressed in yellow silk, appearing dazzling. Okay, hold on, where are we here? Like a bright blackish cloud, wearing a helmet bedecked with a Vaidurya stone, valuable bracelets, earrings, and similar other ornaments all over his body, and an abundance of hair on his head. Due to the extraordinary features of the child, Vasudeva was struck with wonder. How could a newly born child be so decorated? He could therefore understand that Lord Krishna had now appeared, and he became overpowered by the occasion. Vasudeva very humbly wondered that although he was an ordinary living entity, conditioned by material nature, and was externally imprisoned by Kamsa, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, Vishnu or Krishna, was appearing as a child in his home, exactly in his original position. No earthly child is born with 4 hands, decorated with ornaments and nice clothing, fully equipped with all the signs of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Over and over again, Vasudeva glanced at his child, and he considered how to celebrate this auspicious moment. Generally, when a male child is born, he thought, people observe the occasion with jubilant celebration. And in my home, although I'm in prison, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has taken birth. How many millions of times should I be prepared to observe this auspicious ceremony? When Vasudeva, who is also called Anakodundubi, was looking at his newborn baby, he was so happy that he wanted to give many thousands of cows in charity to the Brahmanas. According to the Vedic system, whenever there is an auspicious ceremony in the Kshatriya king's palace, the king gives many things in charity. Cows decorated with golden ornaments are delivered to the Brahmanas and sages. Vasudeva wanted to perform a charitable ceremony to celebrate Krishna's appearance. But because he was shackled within the walls of Kamsa's prison, this was not possible. Instead, within his mind, he gave thousands of cows to the Brahmanas. When Vasudeva was convinced that the newborn child was the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, he bowed down with folded hands and began to offer him prayers. At that time, Vasudeva was in the transcendental position, and he became completely free from all fear of Kamsa. The newborn baby was also flashing his effulgence within the room in which he appeared. Vasudeva then began to offer his prayers. My dear Lord, I can understand who you are. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the super soul of all living entities, and the absolute truth. You have appeared in your own eternal form, which is directly perceived by us. I understand that because I'm afraid of Kamsa, you have appeared just to deliver me from that fear. You do not belong to this material world. You are the same person who brings about the cosmic manifestation simply by glancing over material nature. One may argue that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who creates the whole cosmic manifestation simply by his glance, cannot come within the womb of Devaki, the wife of Vasudeva. To eradicate this argument, Vasudeva said, my dear Lord, it is not a very wonderful thing that you appear within the womb of Devaki, because the creation was also made in that way. You were lying in the causal ocean as Mahavishnu, and by your breathing process, innumerable universes came into existence. Then you entered into each of the universes as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Then again, you expended yourself as Kshirodakshaya Vishnu and entered into the hearts of all living entities and entered even within the atoms. Therefore, your entrance in the womb of Devaki is understandable in the same way. You appear to have entered, but you are simultaneously all-pervading. We can understand your entrance and non-entrance from material examples. The total material energy remains intact, even after being divided into 16 elements. The material body is nothing but a combination of the 5 gross elements, namely earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Whenever there is a material body, it appears that such elements are newly created. But actually, the elements are always existing outside of the body. Similarly, although you appeared as a child in the womb of Devaki, you are also existing outside. You are always in your abode, but still you can simultaneously expand yourself into millions of forms. One has to understand your appearance with great intelligence, because the material energy is also emanating from you. You are the original source of the material energy, just as the sun is the source of the sunshine. The sunshine cannot cover the sun globe, nor can the material energy, being an emanation from you, cover you. You appear to be in the three modes of material energy, but actually, the three modes of material energy cannot cover you. This is understood by the highly intellectual philosophers. In other words, although you appear to be within the material energy, you are never covered by it. We hear from the Vedic version that the Supreme Brahman exhibits his effulgence, and therefore everything becomes illuminated. We can understand from Brahma Samhita that the Brahma Jyoti, or the Brahman effulgence, emanates from the body of the Supreme Lord. And from the Brahman effulgence, all creation takes place. It is further stated in the Bhagavad-gītā that the Lord is also the support of the Brahman effulgence. Originally, he is the root cause of everything. But persons who are less intelligent think that when the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes within this material world, he accepts the material qualities. Such conclusions are not very mature, but are made by the less intelligent. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is directly and indirectly existing everywhere. He is outside this material creation, and he is also within it. He is within this material creation, not only as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, he is also within the atom. Existence is due to his presence. Nothing can be separated from his existence. In the Vedic injunction, we find that the Supreme Soul, or the root cause of everything, has to be searched out because nothing exists independent of the Supreme Soul. Therefore, the material manifestation is also a transformation of his potency. Both inert matter and the living force, soul, are emanations from him. Only the foolish conclude that when the Supreme Lord appears, he accepts the conditions of matter. Even if he appears to have accepted the material body, he is still not subjected to any material condition. Krishna has therefore appeared and defeated all imperfect conclusions about the appearance and disappearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. My Lord, your appearance, existence, and disappearance are beyond the influence of the material qualities. Because your lordship is the controller of everything and the resting place of the Supreme Brahman, there is nothing inconceivable or contradictory in you. As you are working under the orders of the chief executive, the influence of subordinate activities cannot affect you. The Supreme Brahman and all phenomena are existing within you, and all the activities of material nature are controlled by your lordship. You are called Shuklam. Shuklam, or whiteness, is the symbolic representation of the absolute truth because it is unaffected by the material qualities. Lord Brahma is called Rakta, or red, because Brahma represents the qualities of passion for creation. Darkness is entrusted to Lord Shiva because he annihilates the cosmos. The creation, annihilation, and maintenance of this cosmic manifestation is conducted by your potencies, yet you are always unaffected by those qualities. As confirmed in the Vedas, Harirhi Nirgunaha Sakshat. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is always free from all material qualities. It is also said that the qualities of passion and ignorance are non-existent in the person of the Supreme Lord. My Lord, you are the Supreme Controller, the personality of Godhead, the Supreme Great, maintaining the order of this cosmic manifestation. And in spite of your being the Supreme Controller, you have so kindly appeared in my home. The purpose of your appearance is to kill the followers of the demonic rulers of the world, who are in the dress of royal princes, but are actually demons. I am sure that you will kill all of them and their followers and soldiers. I understand that you have appeared to kill the uncivilized Kamsa and his followers, but knowing that you were to appear to kill him and his followers, he has already killed so many of your predecessors, elder brothers. Now he is simply awaiting the news of your birth. As soon as he hears about it, he will immediately appear with all kinds of weapons to kill you. After this prayer, Vasudeva, Devaki, the mother of Krishna, offered her prayers. She was very frightened because of her brother's atrocities. Devaki said, "My dear Lord, your eternal forms like Narayana, Lord Rama, Shesha, Varaha, Nrisimha, Vamana, Baladeva, and millions of similar incarnations emanating from Vishnu are described in the Vedic literature as original. You are original because all your forms are as incarnations are outside of this material creation. Your form was existing before this cosmic manifestation was created. Your forms are eternal and all-pervading. They are self-effulgent, changeless, and uncontaminated by the material qualities. Such eternal forms are ever cognizant and full of bliss. They are situated in transcendental goodness and are always engaged in different pastimes. You are not limited to a particular form only. All such transcendental eternal forms are self-sufficient. I can understand that you are the Supreme Lord Vishnu. After millions of years, when Lord Brahma comes to the end of his life, the annihilation of the cosmic manifestation takes place. At that time, the 5 elements, namely earth, water, fire, air, and ether, entered into the Mahatattva. The Mahatattva again enters by the force of time into the non-manifested total material energy. The total material energy enters into the energetic pradhana, and the pradhana enters into you. Therefore, after all the annihilation of the whole cosmic manifestation, you alone remain with your transcendental name, form, quality, and paraphernalia. My Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, because you are the director of the unmanifested total energy and the ultimate reservoir of the material nature. My Lord, the whole cosmic manifestation is under the influence of time, beginning from the moment up to the duration of the year. All act under your direction. You are the original director of everything and the reservoir of all potent energies. Therefore, my Lord, I request you to save me from the cruel hands of the son of Ugrasena, Kamsa. I am praying to your lordship to please rescue me from this fearful condition, because you are always ready to give protection to your servitors. The Lord has confirmed this statement in the Bhagavad-gītā by assuring Arjuna, you may declare to the whole world, my devotee shall never be vanquished. While thus praying to the Lord for rescue, Mother Devaki expressed her motherly affection. I understand that this transcendental form is generally perceived in meditation by the great sages, but I'm still afraid, because as soon as Kamsa understands that you have appeared, he might harm you. So I request that for the time being, you become invisible to our material eyes. In other words, she requested the Lord to assume the form of an ordinary child. My only cause of fear from my brother Kamsa is due to your appearance. My Lord Madhusudana, Kamsa may know that you are already born. Therefore, I request you to conceal this four-armed form of your lordship, which holds the four symbols of Vishnu, namely the conch shell, the disc, the club, and the lotus flower. My dear Lord, at the end of the annihilation of the cosmic manifestation, you put the whole universe within your abdomen. Still, by your unalloyed mercy, you have appeared in my womb. I am surprised that you imitate the activities of ordinary human beings just to please your devotee. On hearing the prayers of Devaki, the Lord replied, my dear mother, in the millennium of Swayambhuva Manu, my father Vasudeva was living as one of the Prajapatis, and his name at that time was Sutapa, and you were his wife named Prishni. At that time, when Lord Brahma was desiring to increase the population, he requested you to generate offspring. You controlled your senses and performed severe austerities. By practicing the breathing exercise of the yoga system, both you and your husband could tolerate all the influences of the material laws, the rainy season, the onslaught of the wind, and the scorching heat of the sunshine. You also executed all religious principles. In this way, you were able to cleanse your heart and control the influence of material law. In executing your austerity, you used to eat only the leaves of the trees which fell to the ground. Then, with steady mind and controlled sex drive, you worshiped me, desiring some wonderful benediction from me. Both of you practiced severe austerities for 12,000 years by the calculation of the demigods. During that time, your mind was always absorbed in me. When you were executing devotional service and always thinking of me within your heart, I was very much pleased with you. O sinless mother, your heart is therefore always pure. At that time also I appeared before you in this form just to fulfill your desire. And I asked you to ask whatever you desired. At that time, you wished to have me born as your son. Although you saw me personally, instead of asking, Although you saw me personally, instead of asking for your complete liberation from the material bondage under the influence of my energy, you asked me to become your son. In other words, the Lord selected his mother and father, namely Prishni and Sutapa, specifically to appear in the material world. Whenever the Lord comes as a human being, he must have someone as a mother and father. So he selected Prishni and Sutapa perpetually as his mother and father. And on account of this, both Prishni and Sutapa could not ask the Lord for liberation. Liberation is not so important as the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The Lord could have awarded Prishni and Sutapa immediate liberation, but he preferred to keep them within this material world for his different appearances, as will be explained in the following verses. on receiving the benediction from the Lord to become his father and mother, both Prishni and Sutapa returned from the activities of austerity and lived as husband and wife in order to beget a child who was the Supreme Lord himself. In due course of time, Prishni became pregnant and gave birth to the child. The Lord spoke to Devaki and Vasudeva. At that time, my name was Prishni Garbha. In the next millennium also, you took birth as Aditi and Kashyapa, and I became your child of the name Upendra. At that time, my form was just like a dwarf, and for this reason, I was known as Vamana Deva. I gave you the benediction that I would take birth as your son 3 times. The first time I was known as Prishni Garbha, born of Prishni and Sutapa. The next birth I was Upendra, born of Azaditi and Kashyapa. And now for the 3rd time, I am born as Krishna from you, Devaki and Vasudeva. I appeared in this Vishnu form just to convince you that I am the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, again taken birth. I could have appeared just like an ordinary child, but in that way you would not believe that I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, have taken birth in your womb. My dear father and mother, you have therefore raised me many times as your child, with great affection and love. I am therefore very pleased and obliged to you. And I assure you that this time you shall go back home, back to Godhead, on account of your perfection in your mission. I know that you are very concerned about me and afraid of Kamsa. Therefore, I order you to take me immediately to Gokula and replace me with the daughter who has just been born to Yasoda. Having spoken thus in the presence of his father and mother, the Lord turned himself into an ordinary child and remained silent. Being ordered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva attempted to take his son from the delivery room, and exactly at that time, a daughter was born of Nanda and Yasoda. She was Yogamaya, the internal potency of the Lord. By the influence of this internal potency, Yogamaya, all the residents of Kamsa's palace, especially the doorkeepers, were overwhelmed with deep sleep, and all the palace doors opened, although they were barred and shackled with iron chains. The night was very dark, but as soon as Vasudeva took Krishna on his lap and went out, he could see everything just as in the sunlight. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that Krishna is like sunlight, and wherever there is Krishna, the illusory energy which is compared to darkness cannot remain. When Vasudeva was carrying Krishna, the darkness of the night disappeared. All the prison doors automatically opened. At the same time, there was a thunder in the sky and severe rainfall. While Vasudeva was carrying his son Krishna in the falling rain, Lord Shesha, in the shape of a serpent, spread his hood over the head of Vasudeva so that he would not be hampered by the rainfall. Vasudeva came unto the bank of the Yamuna and saw that the water of the Yamuna was roaring with waves, and that the whole span was full of foam. Still, in that furious feature, the river gave passage to Vasudeva to cross, just as the great Indian Ocean gave a path to Lord Rama when he was bridging over the Gulf. In this way, Vasudeva crossed the river Yamuna. On the other side, he went to the place of Nanda Maharaja, situated in Gokula, where he saw that all the coward men were fast asleep. He took the opportunity of silently entering into the house of Yasoda, and without difficulty he replaced his son taking away the baby girl newly born in the house of Yasoda. Then, after entering the house very silently and exchanging the boy with the girl, he again returned to the prison of Kamsa and silently put the girl on the lap of Devaki. He again clamped the shackles on himself so that Kamsa could not recognize that so many things had happened. Mother Yasoda understood that the child was born of her, but because she was very tired from the labor of childbirth, she was fast asleep. When she awoke, she could not remember whether she had given birth to a male or female child. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 3rd chapter of Krishna, Birth of Lord Krishna. Back to you in the studio, Vishwakarma. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Sorry. Yeah, here we go. Yes, that was the whole chapter, and we had a chance to hear it again, the beginning section and the whole chapter, and it was ever fresh, because that's the nature of transcendental sound, is that it is dynamic and ever fresh. And this is part of the bliss of Krishna consciousness, Sat Chit Ananda. We're full of eternity, we are full of knowledge, and we are full of bliss, being parts and parcels of Krishna. This is our position. Our constitutional position is that we have some of the qualities of God within each of us. Up to 78% of the qualities. And they can be revealed through the practice of Krishna consciousness, bhakti yoga. It can be revealed, like the hearing. You're hearing the philosophy. It's a medicine. It's a cure for material disease. Not like the reading the newspapers or focusing on the YouTubes. No, those don't relieve us. They entangle us in material life. And it becomes problematic as we were reading. There's fear in life. Well, fear comes from not knowing what will happen in the future. And people are trying to predict by so many different material calculations what will be in the future. If he does this, this will happen. If he does that, this will happen. This is all mental speculation. One thing is we know, for one who is born, death is certain. And for one who has died, birth is certain. That's for sure. Just like taxes. You can't avoid taxes, just like you can't avoid death. So the material world can be a very disturbing place for everyone. It's interesting to note, Vijaya Pandit, very interesting to note, that yesterday there was a summit in Alaska. And it was celebrated as a big occasion. It totally occupied the media. Totally. But just see, I got up this morning, I thought, this is very interesting. Because today is Janmashtami and tomorrow is Vyas Puja. This is the auspiciousness of these days that Krishna has appeared. So Krishna is here, Paritranaya Sadhunam, to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants. So we'll see Krishna unfold his plan as we live on in this sojourn of life, of time that we're in, Veronica. As we live on, it'll unfold. We just take shelter of Krishna in the holy name and the hearing of the philosophy, the sadhana. And at the same time, we chant our rounds without offense. And we're going to move forward with our next section. which is Rupa Goswami. I believe we have another section from Prabhupada's encyclopedia of speeches. So let's roll that speech, okay? Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam. Everyone wants to be happy with this Griha Kshetra Sutapa Vittu. Household life and having some land. Now in those days there was no industry. Therefore industry is not meant. Land. If you got land, then you can produce your food. And actually that is our life. Here in this village we find so much land, 9 decans, but they are not producing their food. They make their food the cows, poor cows, to kill them and eat. This is not God. Griha Kshetra, you become Grihastha, but you produce your food from the land, Griha Kshetra. And when you produce food, then we get children. Griha Kshetra Suto Apavit. In India, in village, there is still the system is amongst the poor men, the cultivators. If the cultivator cannot provide to keep a cow, he will not marry. Joru and Goru. Joru means wife and Goru means cow. So one should keep a wife if he is able to keep a cow also. Joru and Goru. Because if you keep a wife, immediately there will be children. But if you cannot give them cow's milk, the children will be weak, rickety, not very healthy. They must drink sufficient milk. So cow is therefore considered mother. Because one mother has given birth to the child, the another mother is supplying milk. So everyone should be obliged to mother cow because she is supplying milk. So according to our Shastra, there are 7 mothers. Adu Mata, real mother, from whose body I have taken my birth. Adu Mata, she is mother. Guru Patni, the wife of teacher, he is also mother. Adu Mata Guru Patni, Brahmani, the wife of a Brahman, she is also mother. Adu Mata Guru Patni, Brahmani, Rajapatnika, the queen is mother. So how many? Adu Mata Guru Patni, Brahmani, Rajapatnika, then Dhenu, Dhenu means cow, she is also mother. And Dhatri, Dhatri means nurse. Dhenu Dhatri, Tatha Prithvi, also the earth. Earth is also mother. Then the people are taking care of motherland where he is born. That is good. But by they should take care of mother cows also. But they are not taking care of mother. Therefore they are sinful. They must suffer. There must be war, pestilence, famine. As soon as people become sinful, immediately nature's punishment will come automatically. You cannot avoid it. Therefore, Krishna Consciousness movement means solution of all problems. Teaching people not to become sinful, because a sinful man cannot become Krishna conscious. To become Krishna conscious means that he has to give up his sinful activities.
That was a very interesting point about protecting the cows. It's a principle that Prabhupada taught us. And even in the Bible, it says, thou shalt not kill, but somehow or other they've interpreted the Bible to mean only humans. No. All the species of life should be protected, and especially mother cow. And just see, everyone, they're claiming they want peace. Okay. You want peace, but what's the peace formula? Well, you have to live a violent life. That's part of it. You can't create McDonald's, sell billions and billions of burgers. I was looking up the statistics, Vijaya Pundit, on the slaughtering of animals. And it's in the billions and billions and billions of killings that go on every year. And they want peace. Prabhupada told us in Chicago, if they shut down the slaughterhouses there, that would end the war in Vietnam. Some of you may not know that because you weren't born then. But we lived in the 60s and lived through that period of time. So this Krishna Consciousness movement teaches people how to live properly according to Krishna's plan. Therefore, we have 4 principles: no sex life, no meat eating, no intoxication, and no gambling. And when you practice those principles, you start to elevate your consciousness out of the animal consciousness. Because Prabhupada taught us that the man or woman that is simply eating anything they want without any discretion, they're nothing but sophisticated cats and dogs. It's unfortunate that the so-called leaders of the world, they promote meat eating as a part of their economy, their economic development. Oh, we can just... And it's interesting to note as well, everyone, that India itself is an exporter of beef. India itself does that. So this whole world, Prabhupada explained, is what? I'll say it. An insane asylum. The people are crazy. No wonder we're disturbed. When you see these things going on and you hear all of the news of how things are going, it can disturb you. Therefore, we always focus ourselves in the transcendental subject matters from Srila Prabhupada in his books, in his process that we're learning. And some of you, I've discussed with you about your chanting of your rounds every day. You have to take that on as a discipline, a real discipline that you can't miss. And the way to do that, I'm suggesting, you can call me anytime and we can discuss it. If you don't chant all of your rounds all day or at one segment, we used to, in the temples, we'd get up and we'd chant 1 hour, and then we'd have another program, and then chant another half hour, and broke it down into segments. So you can break your chanting down into segments. Like sometimes I chant six rounds in the morning, and then I go for a walk. Now the walk is really helpful for not only your material health, but your spiritual health. And if you go for your walk, you'll be able to get, like, say, take an hour. If you go for an hour walk, then when you come back from your walk, you're at 12 rounds, Nilesh. Just like that, boom, and you're going, wow, that wasn't too bad. And then you get back, you could say, you can go in front of your deities. You could chant your next 4 rounds if you've got the time. but you could chant 2. So that gets you to 14. And that way you break down the system of how you're going to do your 16 rounds. But you can't avoid it. Prabhupada was so insistent that everybody chanted that even if he said, he told us, and Yaśodā can verify this, he told us, even if you don't finish your 16 rounds for one day because of circumstance, then save them and chant them the next day. Well, what does that tell you, Ratisha? That Prabhupada is saying, you've got to chant minimum 16 rounds. And we're hoping that today on Janmashtami that we can all chant extra rounds and continue to read and study during the day, concentrating more on this opportunity to make advancement in Krishna consciousness through focus and discipline. And this way we'll carry on. We're going to move to the next section, Rupa Goswami, which is the Kirtan, I believe. Right, Prabhu? He's in Bombay, so it's almost like the telegraph. Go ahead, Rupa Goswami, put that up.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Haribol, glories to Prabhupada. And we're really glad that all of you are using the chat now to ask questions. And we have a couple of questions for you, Yaśodā, Prabhu. This is Vishwakarma. I have some questions in my mind. Lord Krishna appeared to Mata Devaki as Lord Vishnu. Does it mean that Mata Devaki worshipped Lord Vishnu in her past life and not as Lord Krishna? I do not I know that Lord Vishnu and Lord Krishna are the same, but still, Lord Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. So, Yaśodā, that's the first question. Go ahead. His microphone. Turn it.
Hold on. The answer was given in the Krishna book in chapter 3, the last two paragraphs at the end, where basically Srila Prabhupada explains, in translation from the Srimad Bhagavatam itself, that before Vasudeva and Devaki were born in this Leela of Lord Krishna, they had taken 2 prior births. And they were benedicted by Lord Krishna that in this particular birth, Krishna would be born as their son. So in other words, to become the father and mother of Krishna is a very special, very, very special event that requires some austerity, like we see in this particular on page number 31. It is 31 and page number 30. It's explained that in their previous birth, they had been born at Prishni and Sutapa, and also they had been born as at basically they had 2 births, and they were promised that because of their austerities and their devotion, that they would take birth in this material world as the direct parents of Lord Krishna when he would come. Again, it's on chapter 3 of the Krishna book, page 29 and 30 and 31. It's all explained there. You can read and get the full explanation from Srila Prabhupada himself. The next question, when Lord Krishna takes birth as Krishna or Lord Rama or Lord Narasimha in this material world, then does he take birth through Lord Vishnu? Well, all of these incarnations are according to the Brahma Samhita. All of the incarnations are from Krishna. Rama di murti shukala niyamena tishtan nana avataram akaradat bhuvaneshu kintu Krishna swayam samabhavat parama pumanyo govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. What this means that all of the incarnations are originally from Krishna. And all these incarnations comes in this world through the agency of Krishna's energy. So that is basically, here's a nice explanation from Brahma Samhita 539. I don't know if there's a purport here. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Purport is subjective portions as the avatars, namely Rama, etc., appear from Vaikuntha. In his own form, Krishna manifests himself with Vraja in this world from Goloka. The underlying sense is that Krishna Chaitanya, identical with Krishna himself, also brings about by his appearance the direct manifestation of Godhead himself. So that is one nice explanation from Srila Prabhupada explaining here. You can also look up on prabhupadbooks.com and you can put the word incarnation in the top box on the left, and you can probably would have a lot of explanation, or Krishna original personality, like that, and you will find so many varieties of explanation from Srila Prabhupada himself.
Thank you very much. That's good. Let's move forward. We're going to do the Rupa Goswami, put up the offenses. Remember, while you're chanting, you got to remember the offenses and try to avoid committing them as you practice your bhakti yoga on a daily basis. Haribo.
Nectar of Devotion, Chapter 8, Offenses to be Avoided. The offenses against the chanting of the holy name are as follows. First, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. Second, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. Sometimes the atheistic class of men take it that any demigod is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. But one who is a devotee knows that no demigod, however great he may be, is independently as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, if someone thinks that he can chant Kali, Kali or Durga, Durga, and it is the same as Hare Krishna, that is the greatest offense. Third, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Fourth, to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. Fifth, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. Sixth, to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord. Seventh, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. Because by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can be freed from all kinds of sinful reactions. It should not be taken that one may continue to act sinfully and after that chant Hare Krishna to neutralize his sins. Such a dangerous mentality is very offensive and should be avoided. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities. Karma Kanda. 9th. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. Anyone can take part in chanting the holy name of the Lord, but in the beginning one should not be instructed about the transcendental potency of the Lord. Those who are too sinful cannot appreciate the transcendental glories of the Lord, and therefore it is better not to instruct them in this matter. 10th. To not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names, and to maintain material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Radha Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna 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 Hare
Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare,
Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram.
Ram.
Next.
Yes, Yasoda, we have a
Yes.
question. Prabhu, we have a question from, you're beautiful, from our god sister Shreya Devi Dasi. Did you have a pastime with Prabhupada when we were celebrating Janmashtami when you were in India? I never attended because it's a different schedule for me.
In 1976, for the Janmashtami celebration, I was in Hyderabad, Andhra Pradesh, India, and we had arranged to bring 12 South Indian Sri Vaishnava Ramanuja Brahmanas to assist in the opening ceremony. This was a 3.5-day, 4-day program where they do different ceremony called Pran Pratishtha, where they, by various ceremonies, prayers, and mantras, they infuse life within the deity. And Srila Prabhupada had requested this because what happened, some of the life members went to Srila Prabhupada and explained to him that unless you get local brahmanas to do this opening ceremony, the local people here will not accept your temple as bona fide. They will think that this is a non-bona fide, non-Vedic temple. So Prabhupada says, fine, we'll bring some local Brahmins. So he requested me to bring these Brahmins. So we brought these 12 Indian Brahmins. They were under the leadership of a devotee named Sampat Kurma Bhattacharya, who was a very learned Pandit of the Ramanuja Sampradaya, who we had met in 1972 in Bangalore when we first went there. This Sampat Kumar Bhattacharya, he didn't have a whole lot of money. He was a poor Brahmin, but he made a lot of life members by bringing them to us, and Guru Kripa and myself, we would engage them and make them life members and everything. So he gathered 12 South Indian Brahmanas from different parts of South India, and they did the ceremony. And Srila Prabhupada was very pleased with the program that they had made. They had engaged in all kinds of Vedic ceremonies. And Srila Prabhupada called me to his room because when we first went there, Mahamsa Swami and myself, we had grown beards to observe Chaturmasya. And Srila Prabhupada called us to his room and he says, why you are growing beards? What is this? And we told Srila Prabhupada, where was in Chaturmasya? Prabhupada said, no, we are preachers. You should shave your head every 2 weeks. Go shave your head and your beard. So we went, got our head shaven, the beard shaven, came back, and Prabhupada was happy. And then Prabhupada did mention, he sent the last day of the ceremonies, he sent Harikesh Swami to bring us to his room. And he requested Mahamsa Swami and myself, says, you should arrange to preach Varnashram Dharma all over South India. Well, at that time, there was 450 million people in South India. And I asked Prabhupada, how are we going to do that? He says, well, simple. You take some of these Brahmins with you, go to all the temples and go to the villages, you chant, take some small books and distribute, and some way or other, try to distribute some prasadam. That's how it will spread. So Prabhupada was very kind. And on the last day of the ceremony, and of Vyas Puja Day, we all the devotees got to bathe Srila Prabhupada's feet. We did our offerings. And the chief minister of the state of Andhra Pradesh came to the ceremony, and many dignitaries, and they gave beautiful eulogies to Srila Prabhupada. So there was a lot of support from the local people, from life members, dignitaries, and people. Even the chief minister, minister of all the temples in Andhra Pradesh, including the Balaji Tirupati temple, came there, and they gave very nice speeches honoring Srila Prabhupada. So it was a very, very nice ceremony that Srila Prabhupada really appreciated somewhere. And the next year, what happened in Vrindavan in August of 1977, Srila Prabhupada wanted Brahmananda to go to Fiji to do the opening of the temples. And Brahmananda went to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, I don't really know how to do this. So the late secretary suggested to Prabhupada, why don't we send Yasoda-nandana, because he did it a year earlier in Hyderabad. So Prabhupada called me to his room, and there was a very interesting story. Before Srila Prabhupada requested me to go to Fiji and arrange for the opening ceremony, he was laying on his back pillow with his bead bag on his elevated knee, and he said, he looked at me and he says, do you know what happened to the Kaliya serpent after he was chastised by Krishna? I said, no, Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada closed his eyes and he says, he went to Fiji. Krishna chastised him and told him, go, he went to Fiji. And Prabhupada said, even in Fiji, the local people, they still worship that Kaliya snake. There was a place on the island. But what was very interesting about that story is Srila Prabhupada didn't seem that he was just relating a story. The way he was explaining this is like he was directly experiencing this particular Leela of Lord Krishna. So this was a very interesting transcendental pastime with Srila Prabhupada. So I ended up going to Fiji, first going to Australia, staying for a couple of days, and numerous Brahmin devotees from Australia came there, and they came, Dvaipayana, Ganesh, different devotees came with us, Balaram Prabhu. They came all the way from Australia to Fiji. I stopped in New Zealand. They had arranged a ticket to stop in Australia, New Zealand, then we went to Fiji. And it was a very interesting because in Fiji, there was a lot of Indians who had helped Vasudeva Prabhu to build that temple. And one of the ceremonies that we have, we wanted to offer some fruits, local fruits to the deities. So I requested Vasudeva, could you arrange for some of the local people to bring some fruits, local fruits? He said, no problem. So the next morning, they literally made a mountain of fruit, 6-7 feet high, with every conceivable tropical fruit, different kind of mangoes, papayas, bananas, different kinds of oranges, lemons, limes, pomelos, every conceivable fruit you can imagine they had there. It was 7 feet high, very large. So somewhere or other, that ceremony was very, very successful. And Prabhupada, somewhere or other, was very pleased with that when he heard the report. So that's all for now. I hope that helps. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
That was wonderful. You know something, Prabhus? It's very rare that you can have this opportunity to hear this question answered by someone who actually was with Prabhupada and has transcendental experiences with Prabhupada during his manifested presence that he can share with us today on this sacred day. So thank you very much, Shreya, for your question, and more thanks to you, Prabhu, for your answer. I loved it. I do really enjoy our programs because I learned a lot. I learn a lot from everyone in these group sessions. And tomorrow, we're going to be having the Vyas Puja celebration. And at the beginning of the program, I'm going to read one of Prabhupada's Vyas Puja offerings to Bhaktivedanta Saraswati. We read a few. They're extremely insightful for us to see how the mind of a pure devotee truly works in relation to his guru. And it's important to note this, Yaśodā-nandana, and I know you know this. When we talk about our relationship with Prabhupada, we say we follow in his footsteps. It's very important. Footstep is precise. You don't just, walk all over that footprint. You go exactly into the footprint. And this is the idea of the change disease. You don't change things because you think you can make it better. That is a big mistake for you. So we're going to read tomorrow Prabhupada's offering. And then we'll carry on with our program. We're going to have Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu speak on the Bhagavatam. So that's our nectar. Where's my Bhagavatams here? And I want to remind everyone, we have a program of distribution of the Bhagavatam. And this is the Sankirtan program that we have, that we want you to be a part of if you feel so motivated. It's not compulsory, it's voluntary. Everything we do is voluntary. But at the same time, if you want to please Krishna, you have to please the spiritual master. And Srila Prabhupada, he put all of his transcendental power into this first edition of the Bhagavatam, first canto, 1, 2, and 3. And we, our group, the Prabhupada Disciples Association, Hare Krishna Society, have reprinted them. Oh, yes, we have. And people can talk. I'm working to try to get some books for Canada. You know, we're still working on the shipping. It's a complicated story. But at the same time, we judge an action by its results. And somehow or other, by Krishna's mercy and Lord Chaitanya's mercy and Srila Prabhupada's mercy on us, we have these books, very rare, limited edition copies. Very rare. And people don't realize that, but this is the reality of it. And they're available, and if you can participate, please get in touch with me or Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu and let us know how you want to participate. And we'll move forward with this distribution of the Delhi Bhagavatams to the worldwide community. So thank you, everyone. We're going to go forward with our next section of the program, which is Rupa Goswami. I believe we're doing, is it another round of japa? Or we've had so many items today. I'm just going to say, oh, by the way, let me finish. I apologize. What we're going to do is have the class tomorrow. And then after the class, we are going to, for all the people that submitted readings, we're going to read, we'll decide how to do it. Yaśoda, myself will discuss today how we're going to do it. And we'll read the different offerings from the community here to Srila Prabhupada. So everybody has a feeling of how each one of us is thinking about their relationship with His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda. Get a feeling from each one of us where we're at in terms of how we are thinking when we write in 2025. And this should be very enlivening for all of us to hear each other speak and profess their commitment, Krishna Katha, their commitment to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda with full body, mind, and soul. This is true sannyas, not pink robes. Okay? We're going to move ahead with our next section of the program. Rupa Goswami has it ready to go. So Prabhu, please roll the next section.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
play that bass, chant your peace. Don't be shy, chant along, chant along.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha. Let us offer our respectful obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnava devotees. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and who are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Thanks everybody for participating in this most auspicious day, the birthday celebration of Lord Krishna, and the readings. Thanks Vishwakarma Prabhu in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Thanks Krishna Katha in San Diego, California. Vijay Padit and Gopika Priya in Douaeville, Italy. Bhaktin Veronica in Italy, Bhakta Maxim in Belarus, Ram Raghava in Georgia, and our good friend Krishna Kishore in Mexico, Bhakta Vinay in South India, Bhaktin Shreya, Bangalore, South India. Thank you very much for your wonderful service with the introduction to the program. We've received very, very good comments about this. And Bhaktin Radharani, thank you so much. Viprahita Prabhu, the father of Ram Raghava, Bhakta Roy in Mississippi, Kantadas in Trinidad, Bhakta Vaibhav, and everybody participating, Rupa Goswami in Mumbai, India. Please join us tomorrow morning for the celebration of Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja. We'll be having special readings on this day, as well as our regular Bhagavatam class, and we'll have a special obeisances to Srila Prabhupada that we used to do every year for the Vyasa Puja. So thank you so much. Please join us tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time, corresponding to 10 a.m. Eastern Daytime in the United States, in the eastern part of the United States. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Dasamati Nandana Brajabada Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana Dasamati Nandana Brajabada Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana Dasamati Nandana Brajabada Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana Gopi Parana Dhana Madana Manahara Kaliya Damana Vidhanam Gopi Parana Dhana Madana Manahara Kaliya Damana Vidhanam Dasamati Nandana Brajabada Nagara Dasamati Nandana Brajabada Nagara Gopi Pranana Dhana Viparana Dhana Madana Manahara Kaliya Damana Vidhana Dasamati Nandana Brajabada Nagara Amala Harinam Amya Vilasa Purangara Nabina Nagara Mara Bangsi Madana Sumasa Amala Harina Amya Vilasa Vipina Purangara Nabina Nagara Bara Bangsi Madana Sumasa Dasamati Nandana Brajabada Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana Dasamati Nandana Brajabada Jana Palana Asurakunanasana Nandagadhana Rakhavala Jana Palana Asurakunanasana Nandagadhana Rakhavala Govinda Madhava Navanita Dasanam Govinda Madhava Navanita Dasanam Sundarananda Gopala Govinda Madhava Navanita Dasanam Govinda Madhava Navanita Dasanam Sundarananda Gopala Dasamati Nandana Brajabada Nagara Dasamati Nandana Brajabada Nagara Gokula Ranjana Dasamati Nandana Brajabada Nagara Gokula Ranjana Ramana Tatakara Jamuna Tatakara Sika Kripamoy. Ācārya Gopi Vasanahara Rasarasika Kripamoy. Shri Radha Vallabha Vrindavanalata Shri Radha Vallabha Vrindavanalata Bhakti Vinodayasayam Shri Radha Vallabha Vrindavanalata Shri Radha Vallabha Vrindavanalata Bhakti Vinodayasayam Dasamati Nandana Prabhupada Bhaktivedanta Dasamati Nandana Prabhupada Bhaktivedanta Gopi Paranadhana Madana Manahara Aliya Damana Vidhanam Gopi Paranadhana Madana Manahara Aliya Damana Vidhanam Samati Nandana Prabhupada Nagara Gokula Nandana Samati Nandana Prabhupada Nagara Gokula Nandana Gopi Vasanahara Rasarasika Kripamoy Yamuna Tatara Gopi Vasanahara Rasarasika Kripamoy Shri Radha Vallabha Vrindavanalata Shri Radha Vallabha Vrindavanalata Bhakti Vinodayasayam Shri Radha Vallabha Shri Radha Vallabha Manalata Bhakti Vinodayasayam Samati Nandana Prabhupada Nagara Gokula Nandana Dasamati Nandana
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Sarangam Kandar Agom Digamaniya Vishesha Shobha
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Anganiyasa Sakalem Priya Priti Manti Vasyan Dipan Dikayanti Jiram Daganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Bala Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Bala Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Bala Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama